Why do we put ourselves through this? Sitting in a dark theater or at home, gripping the edge of our seats, hearts pounding, knowing that any second something terrifying could pop up. We know it's coming, but we still scream. Why? Let's be real. Horror movies are a weird love-hate relationship. It's like our brain is saying, "Nope, not today," but then our curiosity says, "Let's see how bad this can get." But have you ever wondered why we're so drawn to them? What's going on up here? Fear is universal, but what scares us changes depending on where we come from. Western horror might give us monsters like Michael Myers, while in Japan, it's all about ghosts and curses like Sadako from The Ring. And it's fascinating because horror taps into cultural fears, too. In America, we're often afraid of masked killers and home invasions, things that attack our sense of safety. But in Japan, there's a deep cultural fear of grudges and spirits. This taps into the ancient belief that unresolved anger can persist beyond death. A 2019 study from the Japanese Psychological Association found that Japanese viewers showed higher anxiety levels when watching supernatural horror compared to American audiences, who responded more to slasher films. So, basically, what freaks you out depends on whether you grew up worried about serial killers or angry spirits who won't let things go. Ever screamed at the TV, "Why are you running upstairs?" We all have. It's one of those moments where we feel like we could outsmart the characters. But what if I told you that bad decision-making in horror movies is actually strategic? Well, sort of. Let's bring in a little game theory. Imagine you're the character. You have two options: run outside or hide upstairs. Now, logically, running outside seems better. But in the chaos of the moment, you don't have all the information. The killer could be outside waiting, or maybe hiding inside. It's a gamble. Game theory shows us that, in high-stress situations, people make decisions based on limited info and high risk. They're trying to survive the immediate threat, not plan for the future. So, upstairs it is. Research from the University of California shows that decision-making under stress tends to focus on short-term survival, leading to what we consider bad choices in hindsight. And that's how you end up with characters making choices that make us scream. But in the moment, it kinda makes sense. Horror movies love the final girl trope. She's the one who makes it to the end, defeats the killer, and often represents purity, intelligence, and strength. But what makes her so special? It's all about risk assessment. Final girls are typically cautious, observant, and avoid risky behavior that gets everyone else killed. They're not just lucky, they're smart. They make better risk assessments. And in horror movies, that's the difference between being the last one standing or being the one who runs into the dark basement. So next time you're watching a horror movie, pay attention. The one avoiding the party, staying level-headed, and not splitting up from the group? Yeah, she's probably gonna make it. Okay, let's talk about you, the viewer. Why do you jump at every little thing even when you know it's coming? Horror movies are experts at using anticipation to mess with our brains. And a big part of that is sound. That slow build-up in music? That's not by accident. A study from the University of Westminster showed that horror movie soundtracks, particularly before a jump scare, elevate heart rates and trigger a fight-or-flight response. Your brain thinks something is actually going to attack you, and it freaks out. And then you scream, or spill your popcorn, or both. It's like your body's saying, "I need to survive," even though you're on your couch with a bag of Doritos. Here's something you might not expect. Horror movies can actually be good for your mental health. Crazy, right? But think about it. Watching someone else fight off danger lets us process our own fears in a safe way. It's called catharsis. When the danger's over, your brain releases dopamine and endorphins, the feel-good chemicals. That's why you leave the theater feeling relieved. It's your body rewarding you for surviving, even if you were just sitting on a couch. Research by Dr. Margie Kerr, a sociologist who studies fear, found that people often report feeling happier and less anxious after watching a horror movie because it helps them release built-up stress. So, horror movies are like a roller coaster for your emotions. You're scared out of your mind for 90 minutes, but then you feel great afterward. Who knew horror could be a form of self-care? In the end, horror movies tap into our most primal emotions: fear, anxiety, relief. They let us experience danger without the risk. Whether it's cross-cultural ghosts or game theory-level decision-making, we keep coming back for more. Because it's fun to be scared when you know you're safe. So next time you scream at a character for running upstairs, remember, they're just playing the game. And deep down, you're loving every second of it. See you at the next jump scare.